What's up guys, Steve here, and welcome back to my page. Today's topic for Turo and how to make your fleet run smoother is going to be basically small claims. So before we get into it, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that little notification bell. That way I can get this video and more like this out to many more people like yourselves to help your fleet run better. So let's get into this. I had a rental come back today and it had a chip in the windshield. Chip was, basically about the size of a quarter, and it immediately goes out for another rental. So it unfeasible to really get it filled or changed out, which I'm not going to change the whole windshield just for a chip. But I want to stop the spread on it before basically water gets on it along with the heat, and it just takes off, right? So what I did was basically I recorded everything, documented it, and this was my first claim as far as with the Civic, the first car that I have on here, and wasn't getting a rating from the renter. I let him know about it, and he was super cool. Just basically said, "Hey, I didn't even realize it chipped. What do we got to do to fix it?" So in going through all this, I was like, this is going to be the first one for me going through the process. So I'll just kind of let it go and just kind of give him a heads up, like, "Hey, Turo is basically going to handle things because I don't want to admit that I'm going to handle it. I don't want to say that he has to handle it." Basically kind of walking on eggshells. Don't really want to give him the, that you're going to have to pay for this, or Turo's going to take care of it, because Turo will basically kind of, if they start feeling like you're forcing it on them, they may kind of back off and say, "No, this isn't on us." So basically I went through the whole process, and it's kind of goofy because you do go through, and I did have to fill out, credit card information in case I report a false claim or something like that, where they're basically going to charge me $20, or if it's completely false and they can prove it, then they're going to charge me for the damages, which kind of sucks. I'm not really looking forward to that process. I'm not too stoked on that. Bottom line, it didn't happen on my time, so how am I supposed to do all that? Like, what? Come on, man. I'm not trying to pay for this, even though it's, my car, but on someone else's dime or someone else's rental, someone else's time. So whatever, filled out that information. I know it's not faulty. I'm not creating false claims. I had pictures before. Make sure you guys get those good pre-trip pictures and your post-trip pictures. And it was over on the passenger side. It was clear as can be. I'll show you pictures of it, and I'll kind of show. You're going to want a size comparison. Usually you can do this with a ruler or measuring tape or whatever. I used my wallet, just kind of stuck my wallet up right next behind it, and that way it shows perfectly that it is cracked and it is new, or not even necessarily new, but it is cracked, and here it is, and this is my size of my wallet, so you can understand like the size of credit card, whatever. So I went through that, did the pictures, and as I'm going through it asked, do you want to, or do you know when this incident occurred, do you know streets, time, all this stuff, which I'm just going to be straight up. I don't know. I wasn't driving, so I'm not going to lie about it. No, it just happened. Like, it is what it is. And I get through everything. And mind you, I know that it's a simple chip repair. Like, it's going to be just a fill. I'll call up one of the homies, like, we'll make this happen. Like, it's not going to be expensive. But it's a cost. It's something out of pocket that I don't want to have to handle or deal with. So needless to say, I go through this whole process, and I'm waiting. I get 24 hours before I make the claim. So then I started the claim, and I'm still waiting for the renter to basically give me a review, but he hasn't yet. So I'm like, okay, whatever. At this point, I'm just like, it is what it is. I go through the whole process, and we did reach out, and it was more customer service because he's going to be back in town in a couple months, and he was looking at different cars, but now he wants a different style of car. So we were just kind of, going back and forth just about that stuff. But then it came down to, okay, well, he still hasn't given me a review. I don't know what's really going on with it. I'm just going to let it ride. And I start filling out the rest of this paperwork, or basically everything online, just to find out what I need to do, what I need to follow through with for this damage claim. Now, this is the way I went about it. I'm sure there's probably other ways to go about it. If you go with it directly to the renter and start working that avenue, Turo's basically going to wash their hands of it and say, okay, you tried to handle it on your own. It's either this or that. It's not both. You can't ask for help from the renter and then ask for the insurance claim. So that's why I was just like, okay, I'm just going to leave it, right? And it's a minor repair. It's glass. It's going to happen. And the other part that sucks for me personally, and I've been hit with this, I got charged $250 for a windshield in Hawaii once. And this was with big box, rental agencies. And it was dumb because I know for a fact, I drove the whole time. There was nothing that hit the windshield, but when they brought the car out, it just came out of the wash. So I'm sure what happened was there was water droplets on the windshield. I didn't see the chip, and since I didn't see the chip, it's my fault. And the only thing I could think of was, how many guys are you getting for this right now? And I was kind of, whatever. Whole nother story. So what I would do, what I went through with all this, I'm like I said, it sucks. I get it, especially out here in Arizona. You have glass coverage. Like, that's part of your insurance. It's just one of those things. They just know that rocks on the freeway are a thing. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, it's just a chip. It hasn't webbed out, hasn't branched out down the windshield or anything like that. So it's not an issue. It's not unsafe for the next renter. So I let it roll, filled out the paperwork. And when it all came down to it, I'm on the 70 plan. So my deductible is $250. Since I'm not replacing the windshield, I'm not going to hit that deductible. That's all there is to it. It's $35 to replace to fix the chip. So I'm like, okay. So I started looking at this internally. Now, you guys may go about this different. Me personally, since this is trip 7 on this car, and I got 6 of those 7 reviews, and I'm still waiting on this guy to review. So I'm like, okay, I charged the delivery fee. He was good with the rental. He was good with fuel. Like, he took good care of the car. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll handle this. I'll just pay for it. And I know some of you guys, like I said, you're going to get kind of like, what is going on? Why are you paying for this yourself? It's not your fault. And it's like, well, it's not really the renter's fault either. It's just it's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of being on the road. So I picked up, and I even let the renter know. I'm like, hey, yo, it's $35. I'm not going to come after you. Like, because I'm looking at customer service. I'm looking at reports where he comes back to me in a couple months when he does come out, and which he did say that in the comments. And, you take that with a grain of salt. You hope that they do. You honestly don't know. I mean, he was wanting a luxury car. I don't have any luxury cars in my fleet yet, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe by then I will. I did hit him up like, hey, what are you looking for? And he's all telling me, oh, I want this, I want that, maybe convertible, maybe that, So it's kind of good way to figure out what your renters are going to want. But it was also just doing customer service and just having a good conversation with them. And basically, like I said, hey, the chip on the windshield, it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. I got it covered. We both wash our hands of it, and it's done. And that was the thing. When I went through Turo, it did go through everything and said, okay, so your deductible is $250 to get the windshield sealed up, was going to be under that $250. So Turo straight up told me in the messages, hey, you're not at that deductible, so we suggest that you work it out between you and the renter. So basically Turo says it's not worth our time. We don't want to mess with it, which kind of sucks because, like I said, it is still a damage that happened to your vehicle while it was out on a rental, and now I'm paying for it. Like I said, I took care of it. I wasn't too worried about it, just for the mere fact of it's $35. I already made the money on it. And honestly, this just creates good rapport with my glass guy too, because I got one of those. It's a business expense. It is what it is. Just kind of go with it. It's one of those minor things. And the glass guy, you'll see once you start working with people, you start getting the homie hookup. You start getting, it works out, right? And honestly, when it comes down to it, the windshield, he'll make the money back on that, as well as myself too, right? Because if it's an insurance thing, it is what it is. Now, if I was paying cash for it, obviously it's going to be a lot slimmer margins, but you guys get what it is. And I will say that you will find out the more you're in this, the more you start getting connections with body guys, paint guys, mechanics, tires, all that stuff. There are ways to basically get everything taken care of, and it's kind of one of those things, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and it just works out great for everybody involved all the way around, as long as you guys all play within the rules and do what you have to. So, like I said, my small, and this is very minor, it's only $35, but it's the glass that just sucks, and you want to nip it in the bud before it starts webbing out and branching out across the windshield, and now you got those glares, and now they basically pull your car off the platform. That's the last thing you want. So for me, like I said, just pay for it out of pocket or out of the business expense, which is, it's off the earnings that I've already made. I'm not worried about it. Car's still being booked out. It's actually doing really well this month, and I'll make sure I put out a video here. I think I got 3 more days, and I'll let you know exactly how it did for the month of March and how it's looking for April. So once again, just get back into figure out how far do you really want to take things. I know some guys will squeeze every last drop out of the renter, and honestly, it's putting a bad taste in the renter's mouth for dealing with us as hosts on Turo. So it's really just give and take and figure out exactly how much you want to give and how much of a pain in the butt you want to be towards the renter. Because let's face it, they're going to get mad. They're not going to want to come back. They're going to think that all hosts are the same way. So now they're just acting out on the next host, and it's a vicious cycle, right? So that's where me personally, I just want to be as clear cut and just super customer service as possible. And that way they are willing to come back to me, especially when I do have a bigger fleet. Basically building my brand. And that's what this whole thing is all about, right? You're trying to build your brand. And we'll just say, since this is one of my, minor things, and we'll put it this way, knock on wood, it's not a matter of if, but when something comes up. I'll keep track of that and let you guys know exactly how I handle it and how you guys could do the same, if not better. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If this helps you guys out at all, by all means, please drop it in the comments. Let me know. Give me some idea if this is even working or if I need to change it up. If you know somebody that's in Turo, share this with them. Help me out. Help me get this out. Trying to get this to as many of you guys as possible. Want to make it as easy and seamlessly as possible for you guys to start your fleets. With all that, we will catch you guys on the next one. Have a good week, y'all. Go get some. Later.